Welcome to another cast brought to you by StarCastTV. I am Nyoken, and this time we've got a Terran versus Protoss. It is our Terran hero, Rush, going up against arguably the best Protoss right now in Snow. Now the last time I actually casted a Terran versus Zerg between Rush and Zero, and Rush ended up winning 3-2, and that was right after Zero had won the ASL. So Rush really on a hot streak these days. He's killing it, but Snow is no slouch either. He has really upped his game in PvZ. His PvP has always been hella tight. Really the only person that he lost to in PvP was Rain. Rain just always seems to have everybody's number. But PvT, he's killing it. People are saying that he's potentially better than Bisu right now. Now I realize Bisu has come back somewhat recently, but Snow has really upped his skill drastically in the past year and a half. Usually when I think of Snow, I think of killer Reaver control, killer carrier control, but his macros on point. It used to be when I watched him play Arbiters, it seemed like that was kind of not his style, but now he's really good with Arbiters, really good with Reavers and carriers, of course, and that makes him super deadly to play against. Now Rush, on the other hand, well, first off, let's talk about this. This is going to be what looks like a gasless expand. Depot going to go here for a little bit of SimCity, but I don't think the command center is going to touch the barracks. We'll have to wait and see, actually, if it does touch the command. It does touch the racks here. Now Rush, on the other hand, he is also killing it. Just took out Zero. Now in TVP, he kind of reminds me of a better 4GG. He has really good timings. He likes to harass quite a bit and try and build up a slight lead and then go into the mid game. But he can also just go for that killer timing all in, which makes him kind of more dangerous than 4GG. Because when I think of 4GG, almost every single time you watch him play, it's like, 5-fact, 6-fact, all in. Whereas Rush, he can transition out of something like a 5-fact or a 4-fact, or he doesn't even have to be aggressive. He can just play standard upgrade Terran. Now this probe is doing a really good job to deny the scouting of the SCV. Players have gotten really good with the moving shot on the probe and drone. Probably gonna, yep, there it goes. It has started to deal a bit of damage. Now the SCV is just gonna barely get away. Now back on Snow's side of the map, he did go for Goon first before range. Not a big deal. Okay, and actually the command center does touch the rack. So this is a really cute SimCity that Rush has going on. And this is going to be Zealot tight right here, I'm pretty sure. So, oh, actually this would also be Zealot tight because the racks is on the right or the left side of the depot. So actually, I might be stealing this because this is such a nice SimCity. Now, you really don't see gasless these days. There's actually a new build right now from Flash where he still gets 12 gas, but leaves one SCV on it. And then, now this is my opinion because I have not heard a translation of this build. My opinion is if he scouts you first, he will just transition into a normal factory play. Otherwise, he takes an early command center. Now, the probe got picked off, but I'm pretty sure it probably saw the bunker, saw the command center. So he should know what's going on, and in response, we've got Snow instantly putting down a Nexus after one Goon. Now, because this is Snow, are we going to see like a super fast robotics here? He's so good with Reavers, but lately when I've casted him or seen him play, he hasn't been using it. This is probably going to be Robo. Yep, 4-minute Robo. Now, a few months ago, I think standard Robo timing was about 420. But it seems like 4 minutes has now become more standard. Uh-oh, we've got shenanigans from Rush. Bottom middle, a factory coming down. Meanwhile, a factory in the main. Now this is probably going to be for Siege. Well, it doesn't have to be. Usually when you gasless expand, I like to go for Siege mode because it's going to be very hard to push away the Goons. But this could also just be mines. Get Vultures behind the Goons and lay some mines and then push out with a lot of Marines and tanks. You can see he's already built 4 Marines, so that might be exactly what he's going for. And like I was saying about Rush, he really does like harass-oriented builds, so this is going to put on a lot of pressure onto Snow. Now, generally, Protoss players will back off at the 6-minute mark because that's when about Siege would be kicking in. So, since Snow knows that, I expect him to actually turn around. So, ooh, speed. So, that's what I was kind of wondering is if he got mines, would it be in time before the goons turn around? And it looks like he's decided that it's probably not going to be. He is just going to go for Vulture speed. And there's nothing here. Snow actually went for a double expand. Very greedy Protoss play off of one gate. So this might be a very fast game. Now, the SCV coming in for a secondary scout. Did Snow see it though? But that's a very weird scout. That would mean that the SCV would have had to been on the map for this entire time. So does Snow sniff something is wrong? He hasn't backed off just yet. It's still not 6 minutes. Speed's about to kick in though. He may not actually turn around. He should though, because drops could be coming in. Siege would be kicking in pretty soon. SCV comes in and sees. There's nothing here. There's no pylon wall. So this is going to be a lot of probe kills. I love how the SCV drew the goon out of position too. Vultures are in the natural. So that's going to be 1 probe down, 2. How many can he actually get? 3, 4, 5. Looks like he's going to get 5 probes. So that's nicely done. But is that enough damage? It is still triple Nexus. And it's not like Rush can really do much with these 2 tanks and 4 Marines. So he'll be able to push the goons back pretty soon. But, oh, also, he should have mines soon. So now, actually, if he can get mines up, the goons have not backed off. They need to back off. Otherwise, they're probably dead in the water. Behind this, we do have 3 gates are up. Robotic support bay has come down, so he is going to go into Reaver. But is it too late? Because these goons are mega dead. They are super dead. Vultures are waiting to set up mines behind him. Here he comes. Goodbye, goons. Tanks are going to be moving out any moment now. Up 7 workers. Oh no. Where's Snow going to go? He's got to go this way. He's got to suspect something's up. Instead, he just tries to fight as best he can. 4 goons will 2-shot a tank. He gets 2 tanks. Is he going to get all 3? He gets all 3 tanks. He's going to lose all 4 of his goons. But that's a really good trade. He's still down 10 workers. This 3rd Nexus is completely shut down. So he's in big time trouble. Meanwhile, Vultures are speeding across the map. There's a tiny gap. 1 Vulture gets in. Can he actually pop these goons? They're glitching out. Oh, there they go. And this is Sylphid where you can't wall completely the natural. And more probes go down. More and more going down. He's down 15 workers now. Reaver is out. It is coming to the nat. He's got to get something done here. He's got to get tons and tons of damage. Otherwise, this game is dead. Or this game is done. Here comes that Reaver. There's only 1 tank, so actually it can deal a lot of damage. Holy moly, Rush. Building a 3rd command center. He needs some units. Meanwhile, the Vultures are still harassing the natural down to 21 probes in the main. It looks like Reaver does unload, but it doesn't deal really any damage. Gets off. Oh, he actually lost it. So with the Reaver gone, this is probably just game over. Rush is going to basically just have such killer econ that there's no way Snow can keep up. He's doubling the worker count. I am a little bit surprised after all that Vulture damage he ended up building a command center. He could have gone for like a 5-fact, 6-fact timing, but I guess he's decided it's better to just play the macro game. There's really nothing wrong with that. You know, when you're ahead, just compound your lead. Snow's the one that has to make something happen. I am a little bit surprised he didn't build a 3rd factory, because really the only thing Snow can do to get back into this game is to be super aggro. And being on 1 factory essentially with this floated fact all the way across the map, you know, it is very dangerous to be facing a Reaver in a shuttle, especially when it's Snow controlling that Reaver. Now the 3rd command center is about to land. He is super airtight here. Gonna find another probe kill. Rush just killing it. This is what I was saying about him. He's really good with his harassment type play. And as you can see, he used this small lead to just transition into the mid game with a huge lead. He doesn't necessarily have to go for the killing move like what 4GG likes to do. So this is just patented Rush right now. And there's really just no chance for Snow. He's got a Reaver, like 8. Oh no, he has no Observer. No Observer in the... Oh my gosh, is he just going to eat all these mines? Okay, that's going to be 3 goons going down. Reaver comes in, but there's 3 tanks already set up. Oh no, he's going to lose his shuttle. Goodbye, shuttle. And the Reaver takes a hit from the mine. GG. No way Snow's going to be able to take this. So he taps out and rushes up quickly 1-0 in our best of 5. And Rush is showing us that it's no fluke that he was able to take out 0. He can bring it to you. Terran versus Zerg, Terran versus Protoss, it doesn't matter. Now our second map is going to be Hitchhiker. And for me, this is an instant veto map. I despise this map. It's so hard to deal with anything Protoss does. Now, to be fair, Terran has a very strong push through the middle, but when you're playing versus someone like Snow who has insane Reaver control, trying to fight through a choke into Reaver Goon, that's going to be super hard. So if we're going to anticipate what Rush is going to go for, I would imagine this has got to be like a 5 or 6 fact game. This map is so hard to deal with Reavers. It's so hard to deal with carriers. There's so many ledges everywhere. And with those extra buildings all over the map, harassment is really hard to do. So I think this time, probably we're going to see a timing from Rush. Now, Snow, I don't see how you don't do anything other than Reaver Carrier. This map is just perfect for that type of play. Now we do have Rush at bottom right, and we do have Snow at top left. Position's not really a big deal on this particular map. I don't really see a benefit for either player spawning on either side. Now, because this is a 2-player map, proxy's very common in Terran versus Protoss. We see that Rush is scouting for the proxy. Now, is he going to go for gasless again since he doesn't see? Nope, he is just going to, well, it still could be gasless, but the forward rack's not on the low ground. And meanwhile, Snow actually is going to go for 12 Nexus here, despite it being a 2-player map and being able to get scouted fast. He realizes that often Terran players are going to cut a bit of econ to scout everywhere for potential proxy gates, that he feels confident enough to just go for this 12 Nexus. Now what this does open him up to is stuff like drop play. His robotics is going to be quite late. There is a lot of area that you can drop on this particular map. So actually I'm not the biggest fan of 12 Nexus on this particular map, but we'll have to wait and see how he wants to use this 12 Nexus. You can drop here, here, you know, you can drop tons of areas. You can potentially drop over in this section and then just run into the main. So we'll have to see if Rush is going to go for that type of play. Now, okay, there we go. I was wondering if he was going to pull off a gas, and he does pull off standard factory timing. Now this is a super delayed scout. Probe is dealing quite a bit of damage to the probe also with the moving shot, down to 40 health. He's going to be slowly down to 30 or 35. Looks like the probe's going to back off for now. Now Snow is respecting the fact that there could be a potential pull. He does go for the 2-gate follow-up. He is going to cut some probes to go for it also. If you ever see 2-gate, the chances for you to make a Marine Vulture SCV pull actually work is very low. It's extremely hard to deal with so many Zealots and so many guns so quickly, but if you're a Terran player and see only 1 gate, you can definitely pull versus this. Now Rush, he is building a decent amount of Marines. It looks like he may actually pull. Vulture coming out, there's no add-on, so he does want to actually test Snow's micro. And I don't know about this because Snow has some of the best micro on the planet. Now this pylon, I would have actually loved to have it right here, because then he could build a shield battery if he saw it coming. But he has no idea because the probe is already fallen. Zealot's going to move out. It's going to run into 4 Marines though. He's going to back off. Took a decent amount of damage already, down into 70 health. SCV is going to micro back. I think actually Rush might just kill this base. The Zealot is dealing no damage. There's no goon out yet either. Okay, so this is a just insta-dead Nexus. SCVs can even block the goon from coming down. Oh, he's going to actually push up. He's decided that he has... Okay, yeah, I think that just trading for the Nexus is the move here. He has 5 Marines, 1 Vulture, and this attack actually working much better than expected. Marines are getting focused down by Snow, but he's taking so much damage on that goon. He's got to be very careful. And this bunker is actually preventing the goons from also coming down the ramp. So this is going to be a nightmare for Snow to actually clear. A lot of times when you 12 Nexus, you're actually able to get goons onto the low ground and at least, you know, set up a big concave to burst down the bunker. But without being able to actually get down onto the low ground, these goons actually may never really break it. If he leaves 2 SCVs here, I think that's all he actually needs to just perma repair it forever. It looks like he's not going to go for that. He is just going to back off. And as expected, dropship play coming in from Rush, but this is a 1-base drop. Ooh, is this going to be a second factory also? It's setting up like he wants to go for a 2-fact drop. Come on, do it. Show me 2 factory with starport play. He's spending a lot of money here, so I'm not too sure what this particular SCV is up to. And you can see the goons struggling. This is what I was saying. They're going to be in range of the bunker, but only 2 of them. So that's why I really would have liked him to just leave 2 SCVs here. He could have repaired it absolutely forever. Still no second factory. It is just 1 factory, 1 starport. This is a great follow-up from Rush. And if he had it just perma repaired, ooh, big mine hit. If he had just perma repaired this bunker right here, while the goons are trying to deal with this bunker, he could have dropped behind here, gotten the nat. So I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity, but regardless, killing the 12 Nexus, taking no losses, that's huge. So there's the second factory. So Rush is really all in with this. He has to get a lot of damage done. And I'm not too sure about this because generally, when you kill a 12 Nexus, you're not feeling like you're super far ahead. Yeah, you killed the 12 Nexus, but they still didn't lose mining with their probes. Rush didn't really even kill that many probes. Maybe he killed like 1. And now he has another Nexus up. Now Snow recognizes that potentially there could be drops coming in. He is really in the dark. And Hitchhiker is a map where drops are super popular. So smartly leaving 3 goons in position. I also like this pylon here to at least mess up Vulture AI. Perfect probe timing. Don't know how he knows. Vulture's going to get into the mineral only. Oh, all he does is lay a few mines. Doesn't get any kills yet. And this might actually be a completely denied drop. Meanwhile, drop going into the main. 2 Vultures are sneaking in. Smartly, Snow sends his goons back. 1 probe down, 2 probes down, 3, 4, maybe 5. Looks like 4 probe kills. But look at the losses. Really, not that much. And now Snow's up 2 workers. So Rush is in big time trouble. Another probe going down, but this is not the damage he needed. Like I said, when you face 12 Nexus, you feel pretty good about getting a kill onto the Nexus, but you're not feeling like, oh, I've won the game or I'm in a dominated position. So he's going to go for another push, but this seems very risky. It's 1 tank versus 7 Marines, a couple Vultures, but he's got high ground. So how does Rush really plan to actually bust up this ramp? He does have the dropship, I think. I don't see it though. Siege would be amazing for some vision, or the dropship would be amazing for some vision, but I don't see the dropship anywhere. I guess it got picked off. So Rush is going to have to turn around, and now he's really in trouble. He didn't deal that much damage with his Vultures. All he's doing is really, you know, keeping Snow back, at least his goons back, but Reaver's out, and now Shuttle is coming across the map. Wraith just barely missed it. Oh my gosh, he just barely misses it. That could have been huge because there was no goon. This would have been 100% dead Shuttle. And then really, Rush maybe would have been able to get some damage done with his tank Marine Vulture contained. Yeah, he needs to back off. I think these tanks are actually dead. Reaver shot, nothing. Gets 1 Marine, that's not a big loss. Wraith has to be careful, so fragile, ends up falling. Now behind this, well, there's the dropship. He's going to transition into the mid game, but he's in really a bad position. Oh my gosh, that Reaver almost dies. Goons are taking a lot of damage from the Marines, Vultures, and tanks. Gotta be careful about that mine. Tanks and Marines are dealing way more damage than I anticipated. Huge mine hit. Wipes out one goon, but also wipes out the tank. And Snow has cleaned this up pretty easily. Took some casualties himself, but overall, no big losses. And with mineral only mining for quite some time, he's at a massive advantage. Probably going to take his nat pretty soon. There it is. It's going to be going down. Now, what is Rush's response going to be? A second Wraith coming out. Wraith, so expensive. You can see how committed Rush was because Armory just now starting at 10 minutes. Another drop going to the bottom side of the main of Snow, but he's already got goons setting up. Pylon wall coming in at the perfect time. Nice response from Snow. 3 probes do fall. Vulture not going to be able to get a fourth one, and this is just compounding pretty hard for Snow right now. The Reaver really hasn't done much damage to the mineral line, but it doesn't really need to. It's denied the timing. Rush really has no way of playing passively with 2-1 because of how this map is designed. His third base is going to be mineral only. It's going to be super hard to get a fourth base with gas because the closest one is right here. There's no way he's taking this one. So more than likely we're going to see a flood of factories coming in pretty soon, but the econ is just non-existent. He's got, well, it's actually better than I thought. 40 SCVs to 44 probes. Not bad. Really nice probe control right there to deny that Vulture from getting in and dealing any more damage. But third Nexus is up. We're going to see a lot of probes coming in pretty soon. Observer sees everything. He sees the 3 factory. Tank count, what is it? It looks like it's about 4. So a really dismal tank count. Very gas starved after being on 1 gas for so long. Rush is trying to transition as best he can. He's trying to deal as much damage as he can with these Vultures. But the pylon placements all over the map are great for Snow. He can see everything. Vulture's going to run by this pylon right now. And now the goons are already in position to deny this incoming attack. I think it looks like he just barely missed it because Vultures actually do sneak through. 1 probe going down. Second probe. He's going to trade a goon for this. 3, 4. Not bad, but 3 Vultures for 4 probes when your only option is to go for a timing attack. I'm not too sure how this is really going to work. +1 weapon is about to finish. The factories are a little bit late. Our tank count is so tiny that I actually think that we're going to see a 2-1. Yeah, he is going to go for 2-1 on 2 gas. But it's going to be very hard to make this work. And as I was saying, Hitchhiker moving through the middle into Goon Reaver, it's going to be so tight, takes so long for him to actually push through, that by the time he actually does, Snow should have something like Arbors, Carriers, even like Mass Storm. There's a second Reaver, so really Snow knows exactly how to play this map. Just limit the movement ability of the Terran through the middle. Goons may even intercept this. Good scan right there to make sure that the dropship doesn't get picked off. But I'm just looking at this and how do we actually get this base as Terran? There's double Reaver. There's 8 gate. Citadel's done. Like everything is great. Oh, he is going to catch the dropship. He killed off those temples. And now with this path already cleared, Protoss has direct access to bottom left whenever that actually gets taken. So I do think that we're going to see even maybe 1 more factory come down and then Rush just go for it. Vultures get into the main, but that's not really going to do much. Reaver's going to clean it up very easily. And this is just Snow's game to take. He's up 40 supply. He's got 3 bases versus 2. Would like to see him take another base pretty soon. But other than that, everything is going perfectly for him. I don't see a Stargate, and I don't see Templar Archive anywhere, which is a bit suspect. Most of the time Protoss does need some AoE. Okay, here we go. Snow. No, he's going to back off. But what I was saying is a lot of time Protoss does need some type of AoE. Gateway Man is strong, but facing 2-1 in the upgrade style, that's a way to actually let Terran get back into the game when you don't have any AoE, no Storm, no Stasis. I guess there is some Reavers, but Reavers can get instantly picked off pretty quickly. They can also deal tons of damage, and with Snow piloting the shuttle, you know that it is going to deal a lot of damage. Wraith doesn't fall, but down 50 supply. Just what do you do as Rush? Okay, 6th and 7th factory coming in. So this is going to be a very strong 2-1 push, but he's only going to really have 1 or 2 attacks. Now if we take a look at the army comp, this is a lot of goons. This is a lot of goons, and they can get choked up very easily. So one bad engagement from Protoss could be all Terran really needs. Now goons, I don't know about this. Yeah, going a little bit too far deep. Tanks are setting up, denying that poke. But I love how Snow has just opened up every potential avenue for him to flood in onto the Terran army. If he ever sees Terran out of position, he can instantly pounce on it. Now top right is going up. Templar Archive is done. Double Stargate coming in, so it is going to be double Arbiter pretty soon. But the army is just huge from Snow. It's 197, so a maxed army versus only 130. And Rush has to split up his army because he doesn't know where the attack's coming from. Is it the front? Is it the side? And we see that it's Snow coming in from the side, and there's just really not much here. Shuttle's got to be careful to not get picked off, but with only 5 tanks defending this area, you imagine that this is going to be an easy bust. But Rush is doing a good job. Reaver's not really getting that good of connections. Not many SCVs going down either. Rush with a phenomenal defense. I think that went about as well as he could have possibly hoped. He's still in mega trouble. Oh no! No! One Reaver Scarab gets pretty much the entire mineral line. Now down to 36 workers. So now there's no econ for Rush. This has got to be a one-time push. Oh, the Reavers, ooh, thought they weren't going to fire for a second. Just barely gets off those Scarabs. Pokes one tank down. But how do you just get through this? It's 2 Reavers and just a handful of goons. And look how little these Vultures are actually doing, and how hard it is for him to just slowly siege these tanks into range. Goons and Zealots coming in through the top. I think this could actually be a mistake. No, I forgot. There's those 2 Reavers. Beautiful hit right there. Kind of a whiff on the Storm, but I don't think it matters. Up 160 to 90 supply. More Zealots flooding in. Oh, an unsiege, and that's not the time to unsiege. Still 1-2 Storms available. Nice Storm right there. Reaver gets off a juicy Scarab. Another perfect Storm. Hits 3 or 4 tanks. Rush is holding on, but doesn't matter. The damage is just astronomical. A 5th base going down, and that's it. GG. Rush taps out. So that's going to be Game 2 going over to Snow. Series is tied up 1-1. One of the hardest maps for Terran Hitchhiker. So let us get into game number 3. It is going to be on the map Horizon Lunar Colony, a map that I really have not played on, but I have seen it quite a few times. It is very reminiscent of Tripod to me. So we'll have to see what both players are going to go for on this map. The series is tied up 1-1. Since this is an uncommon map, let's just show vision right now and get a glimpse at this map. We have 4-player map. Top middle is Rush, and at the mid right we have Snow. Other mains are bottom middle and mid left. There's a close 3rd base, but it's kind of in an awkward position. There are ramps here that kind of is a little bit to the advantage of the Terran being able to set up tanks on the high ground here. There's also another main over here. So very cool map, a very standard map. But one of the things that is very difficult about this map is there is a ton of potential for drop play, and we know how aggro someone like Rush is. So there's a real good chance that we might see some drops from him. We also know that Snow loves Reavers. Reavers would be another fantastic choice on this map. There's tons and tons of surface area to go for drops. Now I wonder what we're going to see from Rush? Are we going to see another gasless expand like we saw on Sylphid? Are we going to see more aggro play like on Hitchhiker? Because this is more of a standard map, I assume that we're probably going to see 12 gas or, gasless again. Now Snow on the other hand, we did see Reaver play last game. What is he going to opt for? So far we haven't seen carriers. Now again, first game was pretty short. Second game, more of a moderate game in terms of length. But we did not see carriers come out from him. It looked like it was mostly going to be moving into Arbiters. Now we do have Rush with another low ground barrack, so it is going to be gasless expand again unless he's going to go for some type of fake. But now that the supply of 12 has come and gone, it's not going to be, a normal 12 gas build. Now Snow luckily scouts this first, and usually the reaction to seeing a gasless expand like this is instant Zealot. But we don't see Snow actually building a Zealot just yet. If he was going to, it needs to start about right now. He does have the minerals, but he's opted to not build it. So kind of unusual, at least in my experience. Almost all the time I get scouted first, they end up going for a quick Zealot push. Now the probe is trying to delay this as much as possible. Now you can see that Rush recognizes that often when you get scouted first, it's a Zealot. So he's building his second depot before the command center, and it is going to stall his build a little bit, even getting gas before the command center. So looks like Rush is deviating a little bit. He does not want to risk taking lots of damage to a Zealot. Now we know that Snow had no intention of building a Zealot, so already this is going a lot better than I was anticipating. Range coming out first. Gonna skip the Goon a little bit for now. He does still have 3 on gas though, and Rush is paying attention to that, especially versus someone like Snow. If he ends up proxying a pylon, it could be for proxy robo, and that would be super devastating, and that's what we see right here. It's outside of the vision of the Terran, not willing to risk sending Marines out just to even check the front of his base. So this might be a very fast game if this is a proxy robo. Bunker coming down, factory's going to start pretty soon. Everything looks pretty normal. Now what does Snow want to go for? He doesn't have the gas for a robo just yet. He didn't cut the second Goon. Now the SCV knows that the probe did not come back. So this SCV is going to try and stay alive as long as possible, try and figure out where that probe is. Looks like a secondary SCV went out and does see the pylon, but it saw that there's nothing actually here. So I don't think he's too worried about it. It looks like this is just going to be a fake because we do have the Nexus actually coming down for Snow. And surprisingly, this SCV ended up surviving. So it's going to try and come around and make sure that there is nothing at this pylon. And now with nothing being at the pylon and confirming it, Rush is honestly going to be feeling really good. This E-base going down. He still doesn't know exactly what Snow's going for because he didn't see the Nexus. So he's just being super careful here. And he does know that someone like Snow, really good with Reavers, you got to make sure that you're going to have a lot of turrets around your base if it's going to be a Reaver play versus someone like Snow. Range has just now kicked in. And it looks like the Goons are just going to poke. We don't see third, fourth Goon coming out for Snow. So he is actually going to just double expand behind this. Pylon coming down over here. Robo has gone up, but I don't think this is actually going to be for super fast Reaver. Everything so far looks like it's going to be a fast third Nexus. Now Rush this time, only one factory, but he does have, well, I thought he may have gas at his NAT, but he doesn't. Second factory going down. Still no gas for Rush. So it looks like we're going to have another push coming in from him. Most likely going to be Tank Vulture, but the fact that he's gotten Siege leads me to believe that actually it's not going to be Tank Vulture. He's just going to play defensively with this tank. Now, if you're going to get Siege and you're going to get a second factory, sometimes that means that you're going to actually go for some heavy tank play. But he doesn't have his second gas up and running. Okay, now he's taking it. So if he's going to go for this heavy tank play, which we see sometimes Flash go for, like 5-6 tanks and move out, it's going to be super deadly versus what Snow is going for, which is 2-gate Goon with a 3rd Nexus. There's going to be so many tanks. He's already got 4 Marines to buffer some of the damage, and we don't see an armory out for Rush just yet, so everything does look like it could potentially be heavy tank. But as I say that, okay, he did have a Vulture, ends up canceling it. Second add-on going up down, so now 100% this is going to be mass tank style. And Snow, honestly, is in a bit of trouble. The rush distance is actually not that far away. Pylon goes down, of course not a huge deal, but it is going to supply block Snow for a short period of time. Now what is he going to do in response to a push like this? We see a shuttle coming out, but I don't see a support bay anywhere. Pylon wall, still no support bay. So mass Goon versus mass tank with Vulture Marine support, that's going to be super deadly. Snow does come in here and see everything that's going on with an observer. He knows that there's no armory anywhere. He sees that there's no upgrades going for Rush. So that could only be mass tanks. So he definitely needs to get support bay down right now. Maybe even Citadel to go for some speed. There's a support bay at the 3rd base. This is a perfect reaction, I think, so far from Snow from what he's seen. Oh my god, 5 factory follow-up for Rush. So this is going to be heavy tank push with a quick Vulture rally follow-up. This is going to be super hard for Snow to stop. Look at what he actually has. 6 Goons. There's 2 Zealots in the shuttle. But there's 4 Marines already. There's 5 tanks with Siege. The factory is going to complete any moment now. Just going to have so many Vultures flooding out from Rush that I'm really worried that Snow just doesn't have enough. You can see that he's got a probe in position to build more gateways, but he's not building them. Supplies are getting dangerously close, 70 to 80. Of course, Terran is looking to have critical mass of units like tanks and Vultures before actually trying to move out. I'm not sure if he has, okay, now that is a lot. He's got 7 tanks so far, 2 more coming out. He's going to have upwards of 9. I'm just not seeing how Snow stops this. The gateways seem a bit late. I'm trying to check if he's been cutting probes. He's actually hasn't. He's up in probes versus a Terran that has now started cutting. 49 to 55. Worker advantage slightly for Snow. Citadel comes down, but this is an 830 Citadel versus a Terran player that's going for a timing. So it looks like Rush is not going to... Okay, now he started on Siege. I thought he was just going to slow push across the map, but now he's coming out at full force. Look at how fast the supply gap closed. It's 99 to 90. High ground advantage for Snow, but I did see an Academy was building. There's the scan, so he has vision of exactly where the Goons are. It's 10 Goons versus 10 tanks with Vulture rally support. Where's the shuttle? Reaver has just now come out, but where's the actual shuttle? Dragoons are dying left and right. Only 1 tank has gone down so far. Meanwhile, 5 Goons have died. Second tank's going to fall, but another Dragoon is going to lose its life. If there's SCVs here with a turret, I don't think this actually gets pushed back. Looks like there was a drop in the main of Rush. Reaver goes down, actually, so little damage. Actually, quite a bit of damage. 15 SCVs ended up dying there. But the push at the front of Snow's base is wreaking havoc. There's still 6 tanks left. He's on top of the high ground with 3 of them. Probes are getting killed left and right. Shuttle has to come by and save the day. Now, Protoss still has good econ. It's 47 probes despite losing his natural. He does have another base up and running with great saturation. He now does have a good gateway count, but Mass Goon coming out versus Mass Tanks looks like he has found some isolated tanks over here, so that's a big pick off. But I still don't think he has enough. The tanks are perfectly positioned, just barely outside of range of the Goons, as I say that one of them falls. Looks like Snow actually may push it back. The tank count is dwindling down. Maybe he can do it. Rush is slowly sending more and more across the map. He's no longer mining gas at his natural. And look, he's very gas starved. So this is going to be a Vulture heavy army going up against 8-gate or 7-gate Goon Reaver. I don't know if actually Rush can push any longer. Vultures are great, but versus Goons, not so much, especially once they hit critical mass. Speed Shuttle has kicked in. Another Zealot and Reaver bomb coming. Oh, Goliath, catch the shuttle. Does it fall? No. 6 health. Now with the shuttle so dangerously low, it's not like it can just fly back and instantly support these goons, and actually Rush is going to continue to push the issue. These 4 goons get isolated, they're instantly dead. Snow, for some reason, feels like he's got more than enough to defend. He decides to spend 400 minerals on a Nexus. I think that's a huge mistake. Shuttle falls, big Reaver hit there, but the Reaver still falls. It just doesn't look like Snow has enough. Despite having 7 gates, he's had multiple Reavers. The Reavers have really done nothing other than the initial SCV kills in the main, but still 35 SCVs on 2 base. That's decent econ. And Snow just way too greedy. He's got Citadel, he's got support base, he's got everything he needs. But this 4th base, useless to him. Could have been 2 more gates potentially. It could have been 4 more Zealots. Now a supply block coming in for Snow. I think Rush has just done it. Supplies are even. He's ahead now. He has his armory. It's spinning. He's going to have +1 in like 2.5 minutes. That's quite a long ways away. But he at least is going to have it. The Zealots, even though the Citadel started at 8:30, still no speed. It hasn't even started. I just don't know how Snow ever breaks this. The contain is huge. The turrets are starting to be set up. He's got his SCV count back up to even almost with Snow. Snow is trying to transfer probes down to the bottom right. Apparently this is an island base, so this is at least a base that cannot be knocked out. But Rush has almost an unstoppable push. If he puts down a couple depots for a Sim City here, nothing can get out. Then this base becomes isolated. He can kill that. Meanwhile, he could expand if he wanted to the island up here. So everything is going perfectly for Rush. And another thing that I've noticed with Snow is there's no Templar Archive, there's no Arbiter, so there's no late game tech actually coming in. It's just Gateway Man with a Reaver mixed in. That's it. Now Rush has decided that he's got more than enough set up at the natural for a contain. Depot coming down, as I said. These units are getting elevated down to the low ground, but they've been spotted, going to instantly fall almost for free. And this is going to be the 3rd base knocked out. I think that this might just end. There's nothing for Snow. Double shuttle. That's it, really. How's he going to actually stop this army? Luckily for him, there's not that many tanks because they are sitting at the Nat. But where does Snow go with these shuttles? It feels like his best chance is to try and bust down here. But a shuttle gets taken out immediately. It didn't unload. Reaver gets popped. 2 tanks fall. But that's it. Snow taps out. And Rush is going to take our 4th game. Or 3rd game. And he is up 2-1. So Rush really bringing it today. He's looking so good with his aggressive play. Aggressive on Sylphid, aggressive on Hitchhiker, even though falling down in that game. And now with a very sick tank push, he's 1 game away from taking this series. So let's see what he can do. Can he close it out in game 4? Our 4th map is going to be Escalade. Now this map I am definitely more familiar with. I liked it a lot in the last season of the ladder that we just had. It was a really good map. Kind of like Heartbreak Ridge, where there's a lot of ups and downs everywhere. And because of that, I think if we're going to see a mix-up in styles from Rush, who's been aggressive all series long, this is the map to do it on. Upgrades are going to be really strong here. Trying to move and siege and push through high ground and low ground constantly is going to be difficult. Running into goons and reavers. So I think that should be the best course of action for Rush. Now we do have Snow at top left. He is down 2-1. He must win this game, otherwise that's going to be it for the series. We've got bottom right for Rush. So just thinking about what Rush is most likely to do, I really do think it's going to be upgrade style this time. He's been aggro 3 games in a row. This would be a nice switch up from the trend. Now Snow, on the other hand, he's gone Reaver every game so far. I think that is correct. He hasn't really gotten to the part of the game that he's strongest at, which is like the mid game with the Reaver and then into the late game with the carrier. Sure, he's had a Reaver, but it's never really done much damage until last game where he killed a bunch of SCVs in the main that we missed while Rush was pushing. But he could never recover from that. The push was just too strong. Now Escalade, I would really like to see 2-gate Reaver from Snow this time. pretty standard. It's so powerful on this map, it shuts down everything, especially with so many high grounds. And Rush, this time, not going to do a gasless expand. It is actually going to be just a standard 12 gas. Now the one thing that he has done is he did delay his racks quite a bit to get a little bit more extra minerals, line up his gas timing a little bit better. So because of that, a Zealot push would actually be a bit dangerous, but I don't think we're going to see that from Snow. We haven't seen it really from him this series, even though he scouted Rush first on Lunar Horizon Colony, or Horizon Lunar Colony. He still didn't go for it, so I think Rush going for this skipping of the racks for a few seconds is actually very smart here. He's going to get his econ going a little bit better than usual. Factory's going to be coming down a little bit quicker. Now both players this time not going to scout each other first, and we'll see how Rush wants to react to what he sees, or if this SCV over here is going to be up to no good. We see that he's pulled off of gas, so more than likely this is not going to be a hidden factory, but it could be. It still could be. Unluckily for him, he is going to in scout here and find Snow in the last position. Now that's a fast Nexus. This is cybernetics straight into Nexus, no goon, no zealot, and this could just be Snow playing the map to his advantage here. He knows it's really hard to push on here. He knows that he can set up a full wall at this choke, unlike on Sylphid. So I do like this move from Snow. Just get a little bit better econ, a little bit faster than usual. He's even skipping range for quite a long time. Now Rush, on the other hand, no more Marines, so it's not going to be an FD. FD has really fallen out of fashion, you know, really for a long time. But because there's no more Marines being built, you can definitely knock that out of the equation. The Vulture is going to come out though. He does actually kill the probe. Now, Snow's got to be a little bit weary here, because most of the time when Terrans move out like this, it generally is a Vulture. But it doesn't have to be. But that is going to at least force Snow to keep this goon back, especially now that he went for Nexus before any units. It's mandatory he keeps it back. But instead, he's going to send it across the map. I find this extremely surprising, because it is so common for Terrans to just push the probe out with Marines. So really it's going to come down to, does this goon sit on high ground, hold position on the ramp, because otherwise this is going to be a lot of kills. Luckily the timing here is pretty much perfect. It is going to be able to get to the ramp in time, but still, is it going to get any kills? Going to get one... no, doesn't get any probes. So actually, even though this move out from the goon was pretty questionable, doesn't get punished for it just yet. Behind this, we do see that a starport is coming down. Mines have started to be upgraded, and I guess Snow is thinking that Rush is going to continue the trend of being hyper aggressive, and he's right. So he's already turning his goon around. He doesn't want it to get flanked, or doesn't want it to get surrounded by mines. So this is a smart move from Snow. He is trying to find this Vulture. He knows that more than likely they're setting up mines at nearby bases, but that kind of leaves the goon in a vulnerable spot. If it runs into a mine, there's no way one goon is going to kill it. Okay, there's one big hit right there. So that is a very weakened goon now, kind of isolated from the rest of his army and base. Now Snow, on the other hand, straight into Observatory. We don't see support bay anywhere. Robo is done, of course. Vultures do have mines. They have speed halfway done. Now this SCV is setting up like it's going to put down another factory, and that is another factory. So Rush, he is just going to be super aggro again. This is looking very similar to the Hitchhiker game. He didn't have much success in that game with the drops, but of course, he kind of hurt his econ quite a bit going for a one base style. Snow is up about 6 workers, so he's doing a really good job getting his econ going, but he's got to be careful now because the drops, it's halfway across the map, and I'm looking at the position of his goons. All of his goons are at the natural. This feels like this is just going to be a successful drop. And we know how good Rush is at multitasking. He can definitely harass the Nat with this Vulture on the outskirts. He has no idea that this is coming. Pylon just now finishes, but The goons, oh, he actually almost walled himself in, so that delays the goons coming in for a little bit of time. The drop didn't unload all the vultures. He's waiting for these goons to be in sight and find an opportunity into the natural. You can see that he's setting up with the drop right here. Unloads. These are going to go into the nat. Now, meanwhile, in the main, still dealing with it. He's up in workers now. There's a hole at the natural. Doesn't get in, but he gets the probe. But really nice idea there, stretching Snow's multitask. So he gets about, what, like 6-7 probes, and he saves 2 vultures, and he forces a pylon at the natural. It gets canceled, of course, but the harassment is great. He didn't miss a beat on his worker count. He's up at 40. And he's got perfect defense. He's got turrets around his base. He's got a Wraith. He knows that Snow loves to go Reaver, so everything here makes complete sense. Meanwhile, Snow, he's got to stay back. He only has 2 gate. I love the 2 gate opener, but the goons were out of position. Snow is basically doing what I was hoping he would do, but just not really working out so far. Vultures come in again. Looks like he may get a couple more probes. 1 vulture goes down, luckily for Snow. So two probes, 3? Who's he gonna get? 4 probes? He gets 4 probes with 2 vultures. Now the counterattack is pretty strong. It's 5 goons, but it's versus a bunker and 1 tank. Okay, the tank has siege mode, so actually this attack does nothing. Rushes up 6 workers. Looks like the harassment has finished. There's nothing left in the dropship. Meanwhile, he's got his 3rd factory coming down. Armory has just now started. It feels actually okay with this build, going for starport and drop harassment. So everything so far looks amazing for Rush. The aggression has really paid off every single game other than Hitchhiker. Vultures are going to catch this probe, going to knock that probe out of existence. And if that's a Nexus that gets built, it may even be able to kill the Nexus. Sure, DPS of Vultures aren't that great, but versus shields, they're really good. The drop looks like it. Ooh, he does get the shuttle. The shuttle came in for a Reaver drop and gets popped by 2 Wraith just waiting and just sitting and waiting. And if you're Snow, what do you do now? Everything's going wrong. He even loses a goon to some vultures. The Reaver is isolated. It's going to force out another shuttle if he wants to save it. And he's down 6 workers. 5 fact coming in. +1 weapon has started. 6 fact coming in. He still has 2 Wraiths. So even though he doesn't have anti-air with Goliath, 2 Wraiths can knock down a shuttle pretty quickly. I think it's, what, 3 volleys for 2 Wraiths? Slowly building up that tank count. Also double add-on coming in. Tank count is going to get extremely high pretty quickly. Okay, I thought that was a 7 fact, but that is not. It's just a depot. Supplies are ahead for Terran, and whenever supplies are ahead, that is not looking good for Protoss. Meanwhile, this vulture harassment that got around the side is going to at least deny a probe transfer for now. Vulture at top right is still denying a potential base up there. More vultures coming around. Now, I don't think he can engage this Goon and Reaver army, which is vultures right now, but I love how he's putting mines all over the map in case Snow ever tries to do anything, like any type of movement. He's got to potentially run into some mines. He does almost kill a Goon there, but instead just takes a lot of damage on his vulture. Oh, he's playing with fire with these Goons. But they do manage to get by, and now the 3rd base is really isolated. Luckily for Snow, he didn't transfer any probes at all, so they're not going to get killed. Maybe just lose a couple here. Dropship going out again, but there's nothing in it. Tank count starting to get dangerous. Up to 6. We already saw what he could do with 7 to 9 tanks on Horizon Lunar Colony. Meanwhile, SCV at mid-right, so this time Rush has intentions to actually go to the late game if he has to. He already has +1 more than halfway done. Remember, he's had the starport the whole time. He can easily put down a science facility and start +2 pretty quickly. Vultures again going to the 3rd base, but more than enough defense here with the Goons, but maybe not. Drags some of the mines into his Goons, and 2 of them fall. More probes gonna fall. 3. Looks like it's gonna be 4 or 5 probes, so a good pickoff again. And Snow's not able to do anything. This Reaver in Goon is just sitting out in the center of the map. He hasn't done any economic damage at all. All that he's really done is force turrets out and a couple Wraiths, which are pretty expensive to be fair. When you build Wraiths, you really don't want Wraiths. But other than that, not much damage so far. Rush is up. Well, he was up 10 supply a moment ago. He is starting his science facility, so he is going to have +2 pretty soon, or have it started pretty soon. Everything is looking amazing for him. He's managing his econ very well. Minerals and gas are very low. Snow is doing a good job too. He's also keeping his minerals and gas very low. But being down supply, being down in upgrades, very worrisome for him. Luckily this time he does have faster Arbiter, unlike on Hitchhiker where he was massively ahead. He didn't need it, but this time he definitely needs some AoE, and Arbiter's definitely a great choice. Probe setting up at bottom left. Looks like that's going to be the place that he wants to take his 4th base. But 3rd is up for Rush. It's gone unhindered. He's even setting up a depot wall here. He has it firmly secured with 3 tanks and a couple turrets. And Snow's going to come over here and see the bad news that tanks have already been set up. Now he can push up here, and no, actually he can't, not with these extra tanks on the high ground. Observer's going to get taken out also. There's just mines all over the place. The left side just covered in mines. Middle of the map covered in mines. Right side covered in mines. Rush is playing this pretty much exactly how you should be playing it. Looks like there was potentially a drop at the top middle that I missed. Dropship is sitting here, but I don't really see, or I didn't really see what it did. Speed is done for Snow. +1 weapon is done for Snow. +2 is a really big power spike for Protoss, just like it is for Terran. So if he can get +2 before Terran actually engages, that would be huge for him. Another Vulture run by to the 3rd base. Gonna get a couple more probes, actually getting more than I thought. I thought it was only gonna be like 2 or 3, and he's managed to actually kill at least 6. But 4th is going up for Snow. He is starting to get his side of the map. It's not that Rush has a weak army. He's actually got a strong army. But if there is a good engagement from Snow, having his 4th base is going to be very, very good for him. More mines going up at top right. It looks like both players are going to go for split map vertically. Another Vulture run by picks off a couple Templar, and that was half the AoE for Snow right there. We know the Arbiter is coming out soon. There is a Reaver, but really hard to control in a mid-game fight. Picking off those Templars is huge. That's at least 2 storms. If Rush waits even a few more seconds, it could have potentially been 4 storms. And this tank count is starting to get ridiculously big. We've got 10 here, 3 here, 3 more over here. It's 16 tanks. Double add-on, he's got, let's see, oh, triple add-on even. He's got about 9 factories, +2 is about 66% of the way done. If he has EMP, I don't know if Snow can actually stop this army. I'm looking to see what the unit comp is. There's a decent amount of goons, decent amount of zealots, but, okay, there's the Arbiter. It's going to have stasis, or maybe potentially have 2 stasis. But other than that, not that many stasis available for Snow. He's going to have really great, perfect stasis. And if he gets EMP'd, that's going to be all the stasis because he doesn't have multiple Arbiters. More probes going down. Look how well Rush is doing at keeping the probe count just super, super low. It's at 46 now on 4 bases. This doesn't let Snow have a huge bank in case there is a big fight where he can insta-remax. And this is just buying Rush time to slowly build up his tank count. Now here comes the big move out, and this is just so much Terran. It's like 16 tanks, or 18 tanks even is what it looks like. 3 at a time, that's 20 right here, 21. How do you stop this? How do you actually stop this? There is 1 Templar out, but other than the 2 stasis that he has, there's no AoE. Looks like the unit comp is about 2 groups of goons, maybe 3 groups of zealots. So this is a really strong army for Snow. He needs to get +2 though. Okay, +2 is going to kick in, so that's a huge upgrade for him. +2 is also kicked in for Terran, but this is really good for Protoss to have this +2 power spike. EMP or Vessel has energy for EMP, but Snow is kind of just giving up the high ground to him, and now he's going to fight, but tanks are set up already on high ground. The wall actually keeps half of the units back. The units from the left side are kind of barreling in, but the Zealots, look, they're really not able to get on top of any of these tanks in the back line. They get on top of the tanks at the top, but That was not the trade that Snow needed. This was a great trade for Rush. He really lost like 3 tanks and just vultures. That's amazing for him, keeping his very heavy DPS units in the tanks alive. He also only had to use one of his spells, which was 1 D-Matrix. He still has available energy for EMP if he has it available. Okay, Stasis pick gets a couple of tanks though. Now, Zealot's getting on top of the tanks. That's a big move, but they instantly die. And it looks like Snow's just fizzling out. He's at 130 supply versus 160. Rush is doing a good job to constantly reinforce his army. He also even has top right already set up, so he's on 4 bases also. In 4 base Terran versus 4 base Protoss, it's not often you see Protoss win those types of games. That is a good storm, but I don't think it's enough. The supplies are just slowly dwindling for Snow. He doesn't have critical mass anymore. Meanwhile, Terran just consistently at 160 supply. I think this is it. I think Rush just has too much. More units coming in here, but it's only like, it's less than a control group, and this is more than a control group of tanks. So this is going to be Rush just pushing to victory. There's no AoE left, there's no stasis. The gateway count, or the gateway unit count, is extremely low. +2 is so strong versus Protoss. Goons melting left and right. And Rush, who we've already seen taken out 0, is now going to take out Snow in a best of 5. The Gains versus 0 is also a best of 5, so it's not like some type of fluke win where it's like a best of 1. Rush is the man these days. He's also got a victory in ASTL just the other day. He's doing a fantastic job, and you know, maybe he's the next big Terran. His timings are great. He understands exactly what you need to do when you go for timings. You stack some vultures to slowly build up your tank count, and his vultures, unlike what I see a lot of Terran players do, they actually get a lot of probe damage done, like a ton. He kept the probe count so low this game, it was actually crazy. So Rush, we're just waiting for the GG really. There's nothing left from Snow. He's down 44 supply, or the 5th base is going up for Terran. There's no hope for him anymore. There's no econ, there's no 20 gates down here, you know, with the potential flank. Nothing that Snow can really do to save him. This has got to be the last stand right here. The Arbor doesn't even have energy, and now it's going to fall. This is going to trigger Snow to come in, and everything just melts. It's time. Snow, it is time. He just doesn't have anything. How many factories does he have? He still has 9. I thought it may potentially be more with all of his bases, but 9 is a very deadly amount, and there's the GG. So Rush takes our series 3-1. Kind of surprising to me, because the last time I saw Rush, I think he kind of misstepped in his macro a few times in one of the previous series I casted, but clearly he has fixed those issues, and he's just definitely a force to be reckoned with. So that's going to be it for us today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the cast, and as always, if you liked what you see, think about supporting StarCastTV, and stay tuned for the next cast coming up soon.